How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis's haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 65, then Friday, sunshine with a high of 85. Celebrate the arrival of summer with a fantastic meal from an Eat Local Minnesota restaurant. They're perfect for a date night, a night out with friends or family, or any other occasion. Check out the list of Eat Local Minnesota restaurants at eatlocalminnesota.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us, share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Before we get to our special guest, Becky, tonight, I just want to do a follow-up from the show. Last night, we had psychic medium Jennifer Leon, who nailed it last night. Just incredible. And if you watched and listened last night, you would have heard her talk about the entities that are in the station. And afterwards, after we did the show, a few of us stayed behind and we did kind of a little impromptu paranormal investigation of the location. And one of the things I like to use, as you all know, is Spirit Box. And we're sitting down in the conference room. And before we even get started, I can't turn on the device. It's not working, which is really strange. But then we start hearing voices, like a conversation. And I say to Andrea, remember Andrea joined us last night, and I said to her, do you hear voices? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, I'm hearing a conversation. And I just call out to the station. It's like, is there anybody in here? And all of a sudden I hear, oh, I'm sorry. And that was it. And then my equipment started to work. And it was a really interesting night, a lot of strange energy in the place. And we had a K2, which is that device that lights up 5 lights. It's different colors, each light. And normally just light up. This was flashing at us. It was flashing like of a camera flash, just really bright, intense white coming out of one of the lights. I've never seen that before in my life, and it was insane. It was so cool. And then today, after I left, Chad, who runs the station, he sent me a note. He sent me a text because he brought his dog Mia in, and Mia's just barking at a wall today. And it's not the first time she's done it, okay? She does it, but it's like I told him about what happened last night, and it was just it just seemed like something. Did we stir something up unintentionally? But it was really great. And as we talked about last night, we're gonna have Jennifer Lee back on, and we're gonna set up cameras in different parts of the station. And it's not an investigation, but we want to have them on so when we talk about the different areas of the building, that we can show some of that for people who want to see. Also, obviously we know it's a radio show, so we'll do our best to describe it, but that's always a great excuse to go to AM 950 Radio on Facebook or GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. and subscribe. That would be great. So with that being said, I'm really looking forward to tonight's conversation. This is the second in our series of what we're calling Paranormal Festivus. And really all that this is that we are just having, I would say, a lighthearted conversation about gripes we have in certain areas of the paranormal. And it's not anger or anything, but it's kind of like, you know what? This is something that maybe we could help people understand a couple things a little bit better. And one of those is what happens when you stay in a hotel that is known to be haunted, known to be like, and sometimes there's might be some kind of paranormal event there. We had the Parafair at in January that Becky and Paige put on, and we just wanted to talk about some of this, and no one better than the manager over at the Anderson House, Becky, who I've known for so long. I don't even know, Becky, if I'm getting your title right, and I apologize if I'm not. What is your title over at the Anderson House?
I would say general manager. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not too terribly far off. And it's, and you and Paige founded Northern Shadows Paranormal Research Team. And that's located up in Duluth.
Correct.
That's based out of Duluth. And we've known each other for so long, and we've all investigated together so many times. And you've been so kind to myself and others to let us investigate these locations. And I really want to start off, Becky, by saying, especially the Anderson House in Wabasha, Minnesota, it's always good to go down there. This is the time to do it because it's so beautiful in the summer, right up against the Mississippi River. But it's not just a paranormal location. It is a full functioning hotel that's a big part of the community. It's a big part of for weddings and all sorts of occasions, or just staying so that you can walk over to the Mississippi River. And Becky, I just don't mind me saying so. I just wanted to start off that way because it's great to be able to investigate at a place like this, but it's also, it's a functioning hotel in every sense of the word.
Correct. We do a lot of stuff like that. And since we've taken over, it's getting busier and busier. So I will put this out there. Best time to investigate if you want to is in the winter when we're slow.
Right.
So I'll just put that
like
out
The
there.
Shining. Just like The Shining, right?
Yep, exactly. Maybe you'll get snowed in, stay an extra night,
Hopefully no one goes crazy there, but I mean, that's, paranormal winter in a hotel, get stranded. What could possibly go wrong?
I seem to remember when we lost power when you were there one night.
We did lose power one night, and we thought it was just in Wabasha, but it was like it was like going all the way up to Red Wing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Now, and I think this is a great way to start, because when you know of a place that is, been reported as haunted, that you've heard stuff there, but it's not just a destination for paranormal enthusiasts, where do we start with the idea of people have to realize that, even if it's haunted and we have, spooky friends there or whatever else, that we have to understand that this is actually a full functioning hotel. How does that, what advice do you give for people who are excited to want to check something out, but they have to realize that there are boundaries?
Okay. Good one. So the first thing I would say is, in our particular hotel, we have that speakeasy in the basement. Not all areas of the hotel may be accessible to investigate. And so that would be the first thing I would kind of remind people of that, because, we're open certain hours and we close. A lot of valuables, booze, money, whatever. Yep. So just be aware that there's areas of a location that you just might not be able to have access to. And then, of course, the common sense one is that there may be other guests there that may not believe in the paranormal, may be offended if you're investigating, and that the walls are thin in an old hotel. just so that everybody knows that, so people can hear what's going on. They can hear you walking up and down the hall, that kind of thing. That's where I guess I would start with some of that stuff.
And that is so much the case. And later in the program, we're going to tell a story that's kind of just all along those lines about knowing the boundaries of, I mean, and listen, Becky and Paige have been doing the paranormal stuff for so many years. So have I. We get that people get excited about the prospect, but there is also the thing is that I think one thing that you really hit the nail on is, like, believe it or not everybody likes paranormal stuff. You know, and that's especially when they were trying to stay at a location and just relax or something.
Yeah. Exactly. I actually had one guest who was booking a room, and they were there for a wedding at one of the locations, and she had a baby. She went online and Googled the hotel and realized, oh my gosh, this hotel is haunted, and she did not want to stay because she thought it would affect her baby staying in the hotel. And I thought that was kind of funny because she immediately got worried about it and how it was gonna, affect them. And I'm not really sure what she thought was gonna happen.
Rosemary's Baby. I don't know. I mean,
well, and it doesn't happen 24/7. Like, they get tired too. They need to take a nap, and then, so
right.
It's not like it happens all the time, so that would be one of my other things. It's not on command, and it's, it doesn't affect everybody that way,
What about people who they're like, okay, so I can't walk around wherever I want and, shove a K2 in someone's face. What about people who think, okay, I'll just investigate in my room? What about that?
I don't really have a problem with that. I just feel bad that they feel like they're confined to a room, and that's fine. But when it does come to that, people want to know what's the most haunted room in the place. And, you and I both know that spirits aren't confined to one room or one chair or one little space. They can travel just like the rest of us. And so that's one of those things too. Don't just assume that, you have the most haunted room, because I can tell you from my own experiences, it happens a lot during the day. It happens at night, different locations of a whole building, and if they don't like you, they're not going to come around. It's just plain and simple.
It's funny because this is actually the second time I think this week that I told this story about a friend of mine I worked with at the ad agency, and he was into the paranormal, but he never investigated, and he had a work trip over at Estes Park. And so he stayed at the Stanley Hotel, and he said to me, he's like, is there any equipment I can borrow? And I'm like, yeah, I can lend you some stuff, no problem. And so he goes out there and he's texting me, and he's just like, it's like around 10 or so. And he's just like, yeah, this is a bust. Nothing's happening, whatever. And I fall asleep, and I wake up, and it was like 4 a.m. I wake up, and I wake up to this line of texts from him, each one getting more and more frightened by like the responses that are coming from the spirit box and the ovilus and all this stuff. And he's just like, it's telling me it wants me dead, and he's not kidding me. I can understand people are like, oh, he's just pulling your leg. No, he showed me the different responses. He played stuff back, and it's like, what did you do? What did you do in this room that you've made all of Estes Park angry with you? Just incredible. And that's why I wondered about like people investigating in the room. Now, the thing is, of course, you probably have a very different take on it, where I think it's Stanley there. He went at a time that they didn't want any kind of paranormal, like they didn't want to be attached to it, where I feel like, and I correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't want to give people the wrong impression. You might work with some people if they have an interest in it.
Right. Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell them the hot spots or what I've experienced, so that they can, hopefully get something in those areas. The one thing I do want to comment about your story is that some people want to do this, and they want to investigate, they want to have their experiences, but then when they do, they're freaked out.
Oh yeah.
You went looking for it. You got some responses or what have you, and now you're worried or scared, or just know what you sign up for.
Absolutely. Something else I think people should know, and I don't know if you have a list like this. I know some places do. And if you're a paranormal investigator and you're going there to do any kind of paranormal investigating or whatever, should people reach out beforehand to see if there's anything that's not allowed in the hotel?
That would be very respectful for people to do that. I know that they probably don't.
Yeah.
I know I personally haven't had that. Well, we'll talk about that story later, but I can't say in more recent times I haven't really had anybody do anything like that, but I do know of other locations and other owners, and talking with other owners, that they have, like, for example, the Ouija board or something like that. And so yeah, I mean, it's nice if they do, and you can kind of give them your take on it. Like I would give them my take on things. Just know how to use the stuff that you're bringing, yeah, keep an open mind.
Yeah. No, and I think that's really good. And I think that one of the things about these sort of things, doing any kind of investigation, especially at a place that isn't like necessarily like, like Edinburgh or Villisca or Melbourne, this isn't necessarily a paranormal destination. So I like the idea that you're open to a conversation of like, well, this is what, they're like, this is what we'd like to do. And the thing I know about you, Becky, and not everyone's this way, and that's just how it is. You are very open to working with people because you live it, you do it, you and Paige investigate. So I like that about it, is that there is room for conversation.
Absolutely. It's about educating. We got into this more because, well, it's interesting. We both have had a fascination about it. But the more we did it, the more we learned, the more we want to help educate people too, and so I look at the Anderson House, for example, as a place to educate people, and hence Parafair, putting that on, being open to it, talking about stories about it, and things like that. And honestly, the people that we've come in contact, even from Parafair, is that they have questions. They want to know how to do it. They want to learn, we can give them their ideas, or our ideas of, why it's this way or why it's that way, or, how to use this equipment, what it means, and I think that's really important. And then once they kind of learn, then, hey, have at it. We want them to have experiences. I want to hear what's happened, because it all fits together in some realm,
Well, and that's the thing that's, we talk about time and time again, all of us who do this together, and everything is like the stuff that you might get when you're at one of these, at a location, or if you're at the Anderson House and you get some random word through some device or something, and they let you know or Paige know about it, and you all be like, oh, well, that makes sense because that relates to this. And
Exactly.
that's something that people don't realize. And that's one of the things I think all of us love about this, is like, it is kind of a giant jigsaw puzzle at a lot of locations, that we're all getting different pieces of the puzzle, and we're all trying to make sense of it all.
Exactly. And that's what's the cool part about my position, is that all these pieces are coming into me, and then I can kind of fit them together. It's different if you've got one person getting this and it means one thing to them, but to me it means so much more, because it's fitting with this other piece that's coming from this direction, and they might not even know that, so once it's just fascinating to me.
I love it. I love all that. And I know that you thrive from that sort of thing. You
Absolutely.
really do. You really do. Why don't we go ahead and do this? I need to take a break here. When we come back, I want to tell, I don't know if I'm going to tell, but there's a story I want to make sure that we get to here. Plus, any questions you have, this is a great opportunity. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then, climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis' haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. Greg Bakun here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursion to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com. And tomorrow is the date. If you haven't had anything that you have scheduled for tomorrow, tomorrow is the great, wonderful Pillsbury Club Ghost Hunt that we're putting on tomorrow at the Pillsbury Club, which is the home of the Minneapolis Trolley Tours. We did this on May 8th. It was phenomenal. There are still, I believe there's still a couple of tickets left. It's going to be amazing. What you're going to do is you're going to join us for a 2-hour paranormal investigation inside the 130-year-old Pillsbury Club Minneapolis landmark. It's a mansion originally owned by the Pillsbury family. It's going to be led by Char Savoy and myself, and you'll participate in an authentic paranormal investigation. This group will have access to areas of the mansion that are not open to the public, and these special areas are long rumored to have unexplained activities. Once again, I want to stress that every time we do this, it's going to be in a different part of the mansion or a different combination of places in the mansion. It's so big, and the more that they allow us into because of renovations and stuff, the more different it's going to be every single time. Now, there's going to also be beginner investigation equipment that's going to be provided on loan, and guests are encouraged to bring their own paranormal tools. We strongly welcome those with psychic or intuitive abilities to participate and use their unique senses as part of the investigation. So I just want to make sure that you all have a chance to go out there. Go to MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com. It starts at 9 p.m. tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I guarantee that you going there, you probably not want to go just once because it's very addictive and it's a lot of fun. I also want to point out for those who are listening tonight and you are like, you know what, I think I want to go down to Wabasha and check out what's going on. You do want to, you can go check out their website, theandersonhousehotel.com. It's all one word. There is the Anderson House Hotel on Facebook. And it's so beautiful. The hotel itself is so beautiful. Wabasha, Main Street, Wabasha there is so beautiful. You have the Bald Eagle Sanctuary there. You have the Mississippi River. It's so great. Becky, is there anything like any events and stuff going on anytime soon that you want to talk about or anything?
Well, we are 170 years old this year, so we hit a milestone, which is awesome. We're hoping to have some fun stuff coming up, probably a little bit towards the end of the summer, which it takes a lot to plan a lot of stuff. So,
Yeah.
so forgive me for that. But the next big thing is Riverboat Days coming up in July. So if people wanna stay, have a good time during the festivities and stuff, that would be the next best thing. It's really great. They have all kinds of activities and stuff going on, and it's a beautiful time of the year. July, it's hot. They have a parade that you can go in the river and stuff. They do all kinds of fun stuff.
You got to go down there. It's so
It is.
beautiful. It is
And
so beautiful.
And the Eagle Center is walking distance from us. I mean, we're
Yes.
kind of like right in the heart of everything, right on in downtown Wabasha. So a lot of things are walking distance. They do craft fairs and things like that. So check it out.
Do you remember when you, Paige, and I went down to the Eagle
Yeah.
Center? And we walk in there, and some fool there just leaves some microphone on a table, and Paige, you remember this? Paige is like, he picks it up, hello, and it goes like throughout the entire sanctuary. It's just his voice, hello.
I do remember that. I do. That's funny. I'd forgotten until now.
It's great. It's great. You guys got to go down. There's some great shops down there as well. And and Grumpy Old Men was filmed out in that area, right?
Yes. Slippery's, which is literally half a block away from us. So you can walk down there and check it out. They have a really neat right on the river. If you want to eat outside, you're literally like right on a deck eating over the river. It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm.
But also the Anderson House has a restaurant as well.
Correct. It hadn't been open for about 25 years, and so it's been open for about 3 years now. Everything is made homemade, fresh. We have a fabulous chef, Al, that makes amazing food. We have the speakeasy downstairs. We have the best pizzas in town. Homemade. You got to come check it out and then see for yourselves.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
and don't forget the Elvis Old Fashions. Can't get them anywhere else.
I won't forget. That's how that works. I won't forget. Yeah, well, we enjoyed ourselves. We enjoyed libations the last time I was out there, which was for the Para Fair in January. So that was
it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Now I want to ask because it brought up a good point. It's a 170-year-old hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Do you run into problems that people don't understand that a 170-year-old hotel may have maybe some crooked areas to it? In the sense that it's an old building. Do people kind of forget that that means that things may not be as perfect as a modern day building?
Yes, we get that quite often. It's with a particular age group of people that may have experienced it, 25, 30, 40 years ago, and really expected it to be either what it was back then. And we all age, we all get creaky bones, we break bones, different things like that. And, the same thing goes for a hotel. And if you think about it, that hotel is a living being as well. So, she gets bumps and bruises and things like that. But yeah, so we do get a lot of people that expect, this 170-year-old hotel to be perfect in every way. But I love the quirks of the place. It makes me giggle a little bit, when the doorways have shifted, I don't know how many times over the years, and you can see a gap under the door, or it looks crooked in some fashion. I was
just gonna say the paranormal people generally aren't that way because we're all used to going to places that are far worse, right?
Correct. I mean, how many of us paranormal investigators went into, a dirty, dusty, abandoned building at one time, or, where you don't have to keep it clean. You're not servicing someone. So yeah, the paranormal people are pretty good, about that. They love it.
Yeah. But sometimes they're odd people, aren't they? The paranormal people. And there's a story I want the world to know. And I'm not sure. First of all, I think in a way, I think I should start it because it kind of started with us. But I guess I want to ask you first. Obviously, we're not saying names. Do you even want me to leave the name of the hotel out? Because it's not the Anderson. I just didn't know what you wanted to.
No, it's fine. The name of the hotel is fine.
And so, and it's one of those things that it's like how can something escalate as quickly as possible? And I put this into the don't section of the do's and don'ts. And this is especially when you're at there's sometimes you run into some people, and I think it's for any kind of fanaticism or anything that people get some sort of like entitlement. And so there was one night, this was over at the Grant House. And Char Savoy and we were just over at the Masonic Lodge, and that was this was before the famous event that we had over there where I think we lost like 3 people that night or something. And it was there were bodies anyway. So we were over there doing I think we were doing a live over there. They're letting us try stuff out, and so we came back. And we were hanging out in the lobby, and the Grant House is so beautiful. And there is this a young lady and her boyfriend, husband, or whatever else, and they were kind of walking around, and they were talking about they were clearly investigators. They had the equipment and stuff, and in my mind, that's when a lot of people might be like, ooh, another investigator. I'm going to, say hello. I'm always the opposite. I'm like, ooh, another investigator. I'm just gonna, and I had some whiskey. I had some whiskey I was having down there, and Char was just hanging out in another chair, and we were done for the night. We already been doing our investigating over at the Masonic Lodge. She comes over to us because she just couldn't handle it, that we weren't trying to figure out what she's doing. And she came over to us, and she was like, hi, I'm whatever her name was. And she's just like, I'm a paranormal investigator. And we're like, oh, that's great. That's great. And she's like, I'm going to be a big deal in the paranormal. And I'm like, okay, good for you. And if I had $1, and maybe you'll probably feel the same way. If you had $1 every time you hear someone say that, especially at a Paracon, you wouldn't be too far off. And so I was like, okay. And she got mad because we weren't paying attention to her and her husband. And I might be missing some pieces to it, but she took that as us being rude to her. And she escalated that, didn't she, Becky?
She did. So earlier, before you guys had gotten there, she actually was walking around the restaurant and talking to the patrons there, unsolicited, telling them why she was there. And that's where those don'ts come in, because not everybody agrees with the paranormal, enjoys it like maybe we do, or maybe they did. But again, it was that entitlement and wanting people to know who she was, or who they were. And so that made those guests feel uncomfortable, to the point where the person running the restaurant called me and told me about this. And not okay, just absolutely not okay. And if I'm not mistaken, when those people booked their room, there was a conversation about respecting people and their privacy, more or less. And that includes people in the restaurant. So no, you're absolutely right.
And if I'm not mistaken, because I remember hearing it, because we were down at the restaurant at the time, and this person would go up to the tables, and she's like, I really wanted to stay in the room that you're in right now, because I'm a paranormal investigator, and I want to, and I was wondering if I can go into your room and investigate. Basically, that's a don't, folks. By the way, that's a don't.
That's a big don't. It'll get you kicked out.
Exactly. And weren't these people in town for a wake?
Oh yeah, I believe they were.
Yeah.
There was because there was a couple different rooms.
Yeah.
for that. Yeah.
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 It's just incredible. And this person who is doing all this stuff, she actually reached out to you to complain about Shar and myself, right?
Correct. So I'm going to try and see if I get this right or remember correctly.
Right.
But she reached out to me to say how you guys were rude to her. And when I asked, and this is on a phone conversation, not via messenger or anything like that. Well, how were they rude? Well, they were sitting in the lobby and they knew we were investigating.
That's right.
Okay, so you can come and investigate, but that doesn't give you sole rights to the entire building. We're a active functioning hotel. So they were very upset with that. And then I think they said that you were drinking and you were drunk and belligerent kind of, and maybe that wasn't the term, but it was something along those lines.
Sure,
So I thought that was kind of funny. And I'm like, I already know you guys because Shar has already called me. And I said, yeah, keep an eye on them. It doesn't seem like something's right. But they were upset because then they felt confined to only the private dining area and that they couldn't investigate anywhere else. And it just ruined their entire experience. And somehow we were responsible for that.
That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
At which phone call was it that she spazzed out on you and hung up on you? What was it?
That's when I told her that she's no longer welcome in any of our hotels. And I said that, basically if anybody was in the wrong, it was her, because you can't expect that when you're going to a hotel. She didn't rent out the entire hotel, that kind of thing. And she wasn't happy with that at all. I don't think she even knew that we were friends. I never disclosed that. But no, she got very upset and ended up hanging up on me when I basically told her you're no longer welcome in any of our hotels.
And we had a mutual friend. All three of us had a mutual friend who knew this person, and he was trying to talk some sense into her, like in the sense of only just like, this isn't the way to go about it. It's not worth getting angry about, just don't let it get to you, before you had that last conversation. And she started kind of going off on him. And then I remember, because I heard the conversation, he said about Shar and myself, he's like, those are two investigators you do not want to you don't want to talk bad about. You don't want to get on their bad side. You don't want to try to spread something about them. But here's the reality to that is what he didn't say, and she tried to do, and she learned quickly, is you also don't get on the bad side of Becky Shaw. And because you start spreading crap around about Becky, that's not going to end well.
And she did try that.
She did try that.
She did try that with another hotel. But the one thing about these old hotels, there's kind of a camaraderie amongst owners, and, so we all know a few of them, Pipestone, the Palmer and that kind of stuff. And at that time I just said, hey, just want to give you a heads up on this person. They may try and get in. I had a bad experience. And lo and behold, she had already called that hotel and was already talking smack about the Grant House. So that luckily we have a good rapport with these owners, and they knew that was not our MO, so to speak. And so, she put a kibosh to that right away.
It's incredible. And, folks, if you're all thinking that Becky and I are ganging up on this person, even if we're not saying her name, we are. But also, I just want to say, in more reality, though, is that this is a very extreme version of it, but it's not the only version of it. Is like, first of all, there's so many people who get into the paranormal, and they all think that they're going to be a big deal. Like we're going to get a TV show. We're going to get this, we're going to get that. And, so I don't want to speak for you, Becky, but to me, it's, it's just like we all seem to vibe much better with people who are just like, we want to talk to spirits. We want to see what a beautiful place like the Anderson House what it's like there. And that's I think what we're trying to get at here is that leave the ego and entitlement at home.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
You know, no matter how much people want to claim that maybe they're the expert, you and I both
Right.
know there are no experts. There's no definite, this is who I am talking to. We can hope and pray that maybe it's that person,
Yep.
but what evidence do we have that it's truly that person? You know, because they can shift, their voices can change, shadows can change, you know, like so many different things can happen.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, for us, I think it's just more, you know, kind of the thrill of communicating with something that we can't see, you know, we can't touch, and just, yeah,
I
just
agree.
have fun with it. You know, it's
Right.
not a serious matter.
And so many people see it exactly as that,
Mhm.
and it's just like it's
Mhm.
okay. It's okay. Becky, I want to take another break here. When we get back, I want to talk about a couple other things, and see, and we might have to do a part 2 at some point, because this
We
is
can talk and talk and talk.
we can talk and talk and talk. Folks, stick around, don't go anywhere. You're
Okay.
listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then, climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis' haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. Greg Bakun here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursions to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com. And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. It will be Casual Friday tomorrow, though it's going to be a replay just because I'm going to be over at the Pillsbury Club, and I hope you will be too. Don't forget, you can get tickets at MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com. But then join me Monday as I am going to have on one of my favorite guests, Morgan Knudsen. We're not talking Dogman. We're not talking Bigfoot. We are talking about Salem's Lot, the 1979 miniseries, which I love and I found out she loved, and we started texting back and forth about the really the intricacies of the plot, and we're going to do a very deep dive on it. I'm really looking forward to that. So that's going to be on Monday. I hope you join us there. We are having a great conversation about the do's and don'ts of staying in a haunted hotel, and with me tonight I have general manager of the Anderson House Hotel, located in Wabasha, Minnesota, Becky Shaw, and I'm so happy to have you here. And once again, folks, go check out their website, theandersonhousehotel.com. Get a room out there. You know, don't only tell people get a room, but get a room. It's going to be
Get two.
yeah, get two. You know, why not just rent out a whole floor? It's going to be great. It's a lot of fun, and real fast. Even though it's we're heading into June. Do you want to talk a little bit about the Para Fair? Because you do that in January,
Right.
and it was so much fun, and it's such a honest get together. Just such a wonderful way for people to get together regarding the paranormal. Would you mind talking about it a little bit?
Sure, sure. So the reason we started Para Fair was to really just get a bunch of fun people together to kick back. Um, you know, for us, I think now we have this huge group of friends that we get to see a lot of times the same ones coming back, and so we've made all these great connections with other teams. And so for us, it was more of a let's just get together, kick back, enjoy each other's company, investigate, and then hey, why not just we'll do like a little fair. Everybody can set up their little tables and display either their evidence, their equipment, what they're selling, any of that stuff. And there's like no pressure to it. We just wanted to have a kickback event. And I'm really happy with how it's been turning out. It's just every year it seems to get a little bit bigger. And obviously we're limited for space. But with that being said, we get some new faces. Maybe somebody can't make it, but we haven't met a couple more new faces, and they've become part of the big group now. And so that's what we like. We also do like presentations so people can talk about their interests or maybe educate some people. We try to keep it interesting with different topics. Maybe talk about where they've been, experiences that they've had in other locations. So it's not just about the Anderson house. It's about everybody, sharing everything.
That's great. It's a lot of fun. And you want to make sure that you get out there in January. And I promoted the heck out of it leading up to it. So if people are just hearing about it the first time, you're not paying attention to what I'm doing, because it's a lot of fun. It's really worth it. So hopefully there is one for January of 2027. I'll
will be. Regardless, there will be.
I'll still be out. I'll just go out there myself. But yeah, that's good to know. That's good to know. Now, did you ever have any like real characters? And I don't mean Johnny Vortex. I mean, I'm thinking of another. I'm thinking of another hotel, which I'm not going to say because I might have been completely in confidence, but I'm going to talk about the situation where somebody had checked into the hotel, and they kind of locked themselves away for like a day or two, and when they left, the room was in shambles, and it was like there was like witchcraft stuff on the walls. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
And the door was scratched, like a wild animal scratched at the door.
A banshee, maybe?
Banshee, right? So have you ever had anything? By the way, that's a don't. If you're not sure, that's a don't. But it's something like that. Maybe not to that extreme, but to the point of like, my gosh, what are these people thinking?
Oh gosh. Between the two, I guess I can't think of anything that off the wall. So that was pretty wild. I have had a group that came from one of the Dakotas, a team, and they were upset because they didn't have any interactions with any ghosts. And so we got that, like, oh, you're not haunted. Well, okay. Everybody has different experiences. But to tell someone that they're not haunted or they don't have any activity going on or whatever, that's, kind of one of those things that.
Do you remember when we did an event at another hotel that we used to do a lot of events at, and the word was getting around that people were unhappy that there wasn't a whole lot of activity. And then within the group putting it on, someone started to kind of come up with an ex-member of the team must have put some kind of hex on the hotel so that there is no activity. I mean, it's a comedy of errors, right? I mean, and people were, within the organizers of this event, they were believing it. And it just it really just kind of soured a lot that night.
Yeah.
just kind of
Oh,
crazy.
yeah. And, unfortunately, it does happen where, hey, the spirits are just not in the mood you know, to chat, to interact
Yeah.
or whatever. And that happens. And, so one of the, probably do's or don'ts, however we want to place this, is that just know that it doesn't happen on command. And just because you didn't have an interaction doesn't mean that one, your place isn't haunted, or two, it's because of anything anybody did necessarily, you know. So don't, talk smack about about a location if just
Right.
because you're not having any interaction.
And most events do something rather smart by saying we do not guarantee any
Mhm.
spirit interaction or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's good. And now we have about, I'd say about 3.5, 4 minutes left here. And I wanted to make sure that we talk a little bit about your and Paze's paranormal team, Northern Shadows
Oh, thank
paranormal
you.
research team. And you've all been you've all been doing this as that team now for what, about 8 years, 9
Yeah.
years, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I guess I haven't kept track, but yeah, having the hotels tied us up quite a bit because I
Yep.
had been busy with the two hotels, so we haven't done a whole lot of stuff other than the Parafair. Um, and putting on a one event is a lot.
Yep.
And so at least we were relevant in that way. But now that things are shifting a little bit, we really are hoping to get back into more investigating and hanging out with you guys and trying some different locations and things like that. So you'll probably see us more. Maybe we'll be more active on our Facebook page and stuff.
Well, and I was thinking there has to be a point that we can maybe do at whenever you feel is right, something at the Anderson again, just like a little small something of just
Yeah,
hanging out, or we need to maybe all try to plan a time to go back out to Deadwood.
I know. I would love to go back out there. I
That
told Pace that already.
And that way you can return Seth's dirt that you all took from his grave. And
Don't tell anybody.
hey, if you're gonna do it, then you got to be prepared that it's gonna be made public. That's okay.
Oh, that's funny. Or maybe even Salem, because I still want to go to Salem. I've never been there.
Salem?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, no, that's great.
that'd be fun too.
We can go visit the Warren Museum since that's moving out there apparently. So
Oh,
yeah,
Well,
there we go. Hey, maybe we can get Annabelle over to your hotel.
yeah. She can.
Annabelle at the Anderson. Yeah,
There we go.
I
I don't have very good luck with anybody with the name Mary, Marie, or Anne in it. So Annabelle, I don't know. I don't have any good luck with those people.
It might even be worse with the added bell to the name. It could even be
Exactly.
who knows what that's all about. Now I had up I still have it up there, folks. It's go to facebook.com/Northern Shadow SPRT. And please go like their page. And once they get more and more stuff going on, you can see their activity, because that's one of the things that you all always have done are some kind of teach outs. You're always doing teach outs and stuff as well, which I've always been really enamored with, that you all did, like at the Italian restaurant up in Duluth that you had everyone else speak but me. Yeah, I remember that. And it just
No.
Oh yeah. When did I?
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Next time,
It clearly doesn't matter. It clearly doesn't matter to me, Becky. You can tell.
We're still friends, right?
Yeah. It's just it's just all water under the bridge. It's fine. Yeah, I'm just bringing it up just so that we all remember. That's all.
That was me talking too much, probably.
No.
Yeah,
It was.
fine.
No, I wasn't invited to speak.
What?
Yeah, I wasn't invited to speak. You had Ryan was up there. He spoke for like 3 hours or something. It seemed like it at least. So, but in all seriousness, what I'm trying to get at is your team is always about education, and it's great. I enjoy that. And people need more of that, I think. So
yeah. Well, we like to do it in a fun way. We like to have fun with it, even when we're teaching. It's not all serious. You can still have a good time. You can still have a sick sense of humor, but just have fun with it.
No, absolutely. In the comments, Nancy says, Lizzie Borden House in Massachusetts. Yeah, before they started charging like $1,500 a night.
Ooh,
It's at least 1,000.
okay.
And I don't know. I don't know if the people who they say are at these places are still at these places anymore. You know what I mean?
Right. Even Villisca, same
Yeah,
thing.
especially Bliska. I don't think the kids are there at all anymore.
Yeah.
Don't ask me what you're getting. If you get a child response, you may not want to know. But so go to the Facebook page. Also, once again, I want to put up for the people, honestly, take a weekend away, go and hang out at the Anderson House Hotel. It is so beautiful. Whole area, the hotel, everything else. The Anderson House Hotel.com. It's also fine. You can find it on Facebook as well. This hour goes by fast, doesn't it, Becky?
It does. It does. See, we could keep talking.
It does. It's great. I love it. We got to do this again.
Yeah.
We're wrapping up here. Becky, thank you so very much for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me, Greg. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
I appreciate it too. We'll be back tomorrow with Casual Friday, and then Morgan Knudsen talking about Salem's Lot on Monday. Everyone, have a great night.